proud local contingent on the winged super modified circuit. Let's go ahead and look ahead a little bit to 88. What's the biggest thing we learned in 87, Tommy?
Biggest thing we learned in 87, I think, is that we need some more races for 88.
Think you can get them?
We're hoping to. We have something in the workings in El Centro, California, the first part of next year. So we'll see how that works out.
And from what I've seen from Dave already at a couple of drivers' meetings, he seems pretty responsive to you guys.
He's done pretty well by us. And,
notice you with the restrainers here tonight. Could you give us a little bit of a close-up shot of those and explain just briefly how they work, why they're necessary?
These are arm restraints, and what they do, you put them on your arms, thus up. Some people wear them over their elbows, some people wear them on the bottom side of their elbows, and then this D-ring hooks into your seatbelt system. And what they do is, in the event of your car getting upside down, it keeps your arms from going outside the cage and getting underneath the cage if it's upside down, hurting your hands.
Pretty much just for you open wheel types, right?
Yeah, it really is. The people with the tops and doors don't really need them.
You guys need them because you oftentimes get frantic and go waving at the crowd when you come by, right?
We like our hands for one thing. We like to wave the crowd, and the crew chiefs invented these. When you're in the car and ready to go, and all of a sudden you ask if you have enough fuel because it's just announced you have 10 more laps than you're supposed to, and crew chief says something like, "You'll be the first to know," you can't reach him. Yeah, you can't get a hold of his throat. So crew chiefs really invented these.
You work down at the Comedy Zone ever when you're not racing?
No, I don't. Maybe I should.
Maybe we ought to get you a gig down there, Tommy.
I come down here. This is a Comedy Zone, isn't it?
I want to thank you for a tremendous show in 1987, our inaugural campaign. It's been a lot of fun watching you and Donnie in particular.
It's been fun for us.
Good.
We'll be back in 88.
Mucho success in 88.
Thank you.
Have a good off-season.
Okay, Tom. Thank you.
Thank you, Tommy. Another of what's become our Tucson favorites, I think it's safe to say, here in 87, Jerry Rice. What most have you learned about this facility, yourself and your machine this year, Jerry?
I'm new this year. This is only I've run about a year and a half, and this is one of the nicest facilities I've ever raced at. I went back east on the big tour back east, and this is as nice as any place I've ever run. I really like the place. It's great.
For those who don't know, what do you do to support this nasty habit?
Like, what do you mean? Like, how do I pay for it?
Yeah, the other 40 hours across the week or whatever.
I work up in Casa Grande right now with Dave, and Dave helps me out with the car, and Ron from Ron's Racing has helped me out a lot, and just keep plugging away. Haven't had much luck here lately. A lot of not finishes, but we're going to finish tonight.
What was the very first itch? What propelled you in this direction?
I started racing go-karts and just met some people that raced, and just kind of, it gets you and you can't quit. I love it. I'll do it as long as I can.
How far would you like to push it goal-wise?
I don't know. I need to get better in the midget before I try to move up to anything else. But the midget's fun. There's a lot of fun people in it, and I've done some asphalt racing, and I think the midget people they're fun people. I enjoy it. You know, if this wasn't fun, I wouldn't do it.
Was Janet Guthrie any kind of an influence upon you at all?
No. When she ran, I wasn't even involved in, I didn't even watch races or I didn't even get involved in it until I was 25, and that was like 3-4 years ago. So she didn't really, I mean, I heard of her, but not really. Denise is, you know, she's good. I watch Denise, and she's really good, and I hope to be as good as she is.
Assume you keep climbing in this, and one day you face the prospect of perhaps running an Indianapolis championship-type car. Have you ever thought about it?
Oh, of course it's crossed my mind. I'm sure it's probably crossed anybody that races. It's, you know, it's one of the biggest things. I don't know. I like I said, I run the asphalt, and it's fun, but I like the midget. It's fun. I don't know. You know, it's very political now. You have to have a lot of money, and right now I'm just going to stick with the midget and see how I do.
Jerry, thank you very much on behalf of a lot of people for 1987. I have heard crisscrossing through the stands a great appreciation, a great following for you, and I suppose like any other athlete, that's part of what keeps you motivated.
Oh yeah, it's nice when you're up there on the front straightaway and you hear the applause and people come down. The fans are just terrific. You know, if the fans didn't come out and watch, we wouldn't have this place to run, and I appreciate, you know, any little kids that want to have their autograph signed. I'd love to do it. It's great.
Super, lady, and thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, did I do okay? Oh, you're still, yeah, turn that thing.
Cheese board is our special tonight. We've switched sex lines here from the gals to the guys, obviously, and from our Tucson contingent to the guy from up at the other end of the interstate who's been a terror in the points chase this season. What was it all about, Dave?
What was it all about? It was just trying to win. You know, that's the main thing when you come out to race these things is to win.
You don't like to always do it right down to the wire, though, do you?
No, it made it a little tough. Yeah, made it a little tough. I had a little cushion, so it didn't make it quite all that bad. I did want to win that last race, but I didn't quite make it.
Points championship in Phoenix, does that translate into any kind of an advantage for Dave Hatton here at Raven Raceway or not?
No, it doesn't seem to have any effect on it. Matter of fact, some of the guys here might be gunning for me because I did make that point, so I don't know. I don't feel any different about it. I mean, I've raced here before, so there's no problem with that.
What do you do, David, to support your habit?
I mean, I'm in quality engineering for the Honeywell Sperry Satellite Systems in Phoenix.
How did the sport of motor racing first tear away as an itch at you that just had to be scratched?
Well, I had, I guess when I was younger and learned a car, and then I started drag racing. Used to drag race out of Beeline in Phoenix. When I went into service and then I came back out, drag racing wasn't the thing for me, it seemed like. So my brother said, why don't you go down and watch some sprint cars? So I went down there and liked them. And then when the Phoenix Stock Car Association at that time, they started taking their fenders off and making open wheels. And I said, I'd like to have one of those. So wife said, okay, well, let's do it. We've been doing it ever since.
Wow. She's still as supportive today as back then?
Yeah, you better believe it. Yeah, she's behind me 100%.
Hard to find them.
Well, that's for sure. Matter of fact, if I do bad out there, she tells me about it. Don't come down here for nothing. Let's get with it.
I sense also a very strong relationship between you as a Phoenician driver and our Tucsonan Donnie Sink.
Oh, yeah, well, him and I have been racing. We've been friends for, probably 77 or 78, I guess, when we first started racing together. And his wife, my wife, they got together. They were secretaries of the associations. And we got together between here and Phoenix and got cars coming and going. And so we've been having some pretty good relationships.
Not looking for any smoke blowing whatsoever, but what's the perception from the Phoenix end of Raven Raceway's inaugural '87 campaign?
What do you mean by that? What was that again?
How do the people up at your end of the interstate who are involved in racing, how do they feel about Raven already in its first year, the success that it has, quite frankly, enjoyed?
Oh, yes. I've the ones that I've talked with, the ones that have talked with me, they really enjoy the racetrack. It's usually always in good shape. Lighting's very good. And the people treat them like they want them to come down here. So that's why we're here.
Heard the rumors about ¡88, more clay and sawdust.
No, I haven't heard that yet. But
a little more bank.
Hey, all right. Well,
these are all things that are being at least discussed.
Sounds good.
Thank you, David. And again, congratulations on that championship up in Phoenix.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. And good luck.
Okay. Thank you again.
Thank you, sir. Have you had any problem with us affectionately this season calling you the Flying Fireman?
Not at all, not at all. As a matter of fact, it beats some of the other cliches that may have been assigned.
Ron Gary, our Flying Fireman. I'll tell you, when you run real good. You make it look good and exciting, and yet haven't got that big one tucked away yet in '87.
That's right. I'm still looking for a win here. It'd be real nice for my first year to have one of these main events under my belt, but we're trying.
What's it been like from the learning process here in our initial year?
Well, it's just like you said, the learning process itself is real intense. You know, you've got a lot of real fast company, and to be safe and try and keep the pace up is pretty difficult.
Has it become difficult mixing this up with your fire duties as well?
Not too bad. My job is such that I have an opportunity to make trades and so on, so I can be here on race day.
What would we expect out of you in '88? What do you hope to accomplish in the off season? What do you want to set your goals on?
Well, I'd like to make more events here in Tucson and in Phoenix, and I'd like to be a little higher in the points.
Indianapolis championship ever in your book?
No, not in this lifetime.
Ron, you've given us a great show, in my opinion, in '87. Best of luck to you in the off season, and let's break a leg in '88.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ron. Hi, Mom.
Get up here. Come on, Midgets. We gotta go out the wheel pack.
Involved down in the pit fields to Jack Jacobs, who's got himself involved front and center for you here this evening to officially kick things off and underway. Jackson?
Thank you, Tom. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Raven Raceway. Tonight we're going to have a trophy dash, the MMOA trophy dash. The top 4 from Manzanita last week will be in this trophy dash, and the fastest qualifier from that race will be in the number 4 position. It's going to be a 3-lap race. Are you all ready to go racing tonight? All right. Okay, if you'd stand now, please, and take your hats off and join us as Carolyn sings our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Carolyn. Another fine job. You know, folks, this is the Buddy Thomison, Buddy Taylor Memorial, and at intermission and both at our main events, we'll be paying tribute to these fellows, these racers who we have lost in the past here. It's also an Optimist Night from the Saguaro and University Optimist clubs, and we're having an auction at intermission time, and the proceeds of that will be going to their scholarship fund. So we're getting set up for the trophy dash right now, so let's go racing. Back to you, Tom.
Good car count.
You notice the red flag hanging off, or the streamer off the back end of that one vehicle. That's in tribute to Buddy Thomison and Buddy Taylor tonight. Good car count. What do we have?
50 total.
My goodness.
As I add them up. By people count, spectator count, and car count. Your top short dirt track in America in this, our inaugural campaign, and we thank you for making it possible. And now let's go racing. Cactus Jack likes the idea. Yaley up front in the early on, taking it in turn 1. But He's got plenty of Fast Thunder and company right behind him and working away, gnawing away on the inside and snatching it away up there in turn 3, but then getting tangled up and taking 3 of them. Slowed down, heading into the yellow. The only survivor out of that, Dave Culp in the 90 machine, but I don't think we'll have any problem with the other trio walking away from it, Jack.
No, I don't think so either, Tom. That was a close one there at turn number 3 and 4. As you noticed, a couple of guys getting tangled up over there, and it could have been worse than it looked, but it turned out okay, so we'll be getting this one back underway. These cars don't have starters in them. They have to be pushed off with push cars or trucks, as you see out on the racetrack. They have a neutral position that they can put the vehicle in, but if it dies out, they need a shove to get them to go. Many of these cars have Cosworths and Volkswagen and Corvair engines, 4-bar suspensions, and we're going to go to a complete restart.
I was in a 4-bar state of unsuspension the other night myself, starting out at one of your favorite places, the Post-Time Pub.
Oh, you
then
started
later
out
on
there,
the Music Box. By the end of the evening, it had been 4 bars, and there was no suspension.
No suspension
We've been
whatsoever.
There before, haven't we?
We sure have.
But tonight, it's nothing but hot coffee and hot chocolate, 12-ounce variety down in the concession area for just $1.
99 cents.
99 cents.
He dropped
now.
It down a penny.
Well, that may be
Make it appealing.
That may be the lucky penny that helped out in poker last night. Save those pennies.
Well, I have my time clock up here, and I pushed it a little bit too hard.
I heard Tony tell you not to push it too hard.
Well, I'll go a little bit easier on it right now.
It's about time.
We're going to miss Jerry up here. Jerry's leaving us. We introduced Jerry to an old friend of his tonight. I don't know if he's going to be able to keep score. We'll disclose it to you in private after the races tonight if you'd like to know. I got to get Jerry's phone number. I've got to call his wife tonight and talk to her.
Did they put that little prize package on videotape?
No, they didn't.
They didn't? We got pictures.
We got pictures.
You'll sell those pictures next week, no doubt, for a
at the video booth.
Handsome little profit, too. Want some 8x10 glossies?
I know you folks have no idea about what we're talking about.
And we hope to keep it that way.
November 1st, our awards banquet. No, I mean November 21st, our awards banquet. It's our first awards banquet. All of you are invited. We've got special awards, a live band, Dana Wagner, beer and mixed drinks, chips and dips, and more included at the Pima County Fairgrounds, Thurber Hall, November 21st. $10.
I got a question. Live band as opposed to what?
A dead band. And I've heard some that are pretty dead. But this is supposedly a really swinging 50-60 group.
Well, that will not impress the camp they call George. So he will shake them down, so to speak, and get them back into a kosher starting style. Boy, they zoom right around there before slowing it down, and they'll re-impress him here, I'm sure, to the tune of getting the green flag, and we'll be off and running once again, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Can Cactus Jack do it again? Let's see. Right now he's got Dave Culp to counter as Culp takes the lead in turn 1. Cactus Jack right behind him and trying desperately to close off, but they don't want to do right here in turn 3 what they did the last time through. This time they come through it unscathed, but it's Yaley still giving chase to Culp, who's flying the banner in honor of our memorial buddies here at Raven Raceway tonight. And again, on behalf of Dave and Linda Manus, thank you everyone for coming out here in our late 87 racing campaign. Culp and Yaley still running 1-2 in this one. Coons and Wilkins trying to do something about it as soon as they get opportunity. Wilkins in 0-1. Coons in the 12A machine. But it continues to be Culp and Yaley as we race into the white flag lap. So if Yaley's going to get her done, he takes it to the high road and says, I'm going to have to do it fairly quick here because we are with 1 lap to go, of course. Yaley makes his move coming out of turn 2 and into the back chute. Can he hang on to it? Yes, in fact, he does. Maybe he adds to it a little bit as he comes out of 3. Oh, look at that open wheel sliding back and forth. Cactus Jack waltzing off to a win here in our trophy dash for you this evening. Cactus Jack Yaley, a good run to come from behind over Dave Culp.
He just overtook Culp right there at the end of the whole thing. Cactus Jack Yaley wins it. Let's give him a good hand, folks, from Phoenix, Arizona, number 1 AZ, Cactus Jack Yaley. Dave Culp in the number 90 car had the race won all the way. Another fine job, but wound up in second place. Jerry Coons Jr. from Tucson in that 12A machine came in third. Eric Wilkins in 01 wound up in fourth place. Eric from Phoenix, Arizona. So there you have it, the Trophy Dash, our first race of the evening. And we're going to crack them out for you. Right after this one, we're getting set up for our second heat race. So our first heat race being set up right now. They're in the staging area. That's out in the pits. They get all lined up and pushed out, and we'll be getting underway. 8-lap event. The first heat race for the USAC Midgets. And Cactus Jack Yaley, I see, is going to be back in this one. Dennis Pellicote from El Paso, Texas, in the number 07 car will be your pole sitter. Wayne Moffler from Phoenix on the outside pole position in number 67.
Cactus Jack will be inside the second row with his Cosworth machine, sitting next to Bob Crisp in the number 8 car, and fellow Cosworth competitor.
John Hibner in number 5A, John from Tucson, and Jerry Rice on the outside in that number 26 car. Jerry, a lady driver from Tucson.
And Mike Brooks, who towed her in from Tulsa, Oklahoma, in the 11X machine, rounding out the field. Billy Schumann behind the wheel of the Bob Crisp 8 car. It's actually 8X, the figures, and going for it. But some nights, well, we wind up with numbers that look incredibly alike. But it will be Billy Schumann outside row 2 in the 8X machine.
And they will try to catch up right now. Get this thing lined up for you. We should go under green on the next time around. Let's see what happens. Heat number 1 for the USAC Midgets, 8 laps. Cactus Jack, as you see, winning the Trophy Dash, back out there once again. And Dennis in 07 leads him around relatively slow down the back straightaway, headed into turn number 3. Here they come out of 3. Off the number 4 corner they come. George Camp gives them the green flag, and here we go into racing once again as number 67, Wayne Moffler from Phoenix, Arizona, jumps out into the lead. Down the back straightaway they go. Moffler leads it on, and Billy Schumann in number 8X right on Wayne Moffler's tail. There's Cactus Jack Yaley in third position right now, trying to overtake Billy Schumann. Moffler goes high, brings it back down the center of the track on the inside with Schumann still right on his tail and Yaley right behind Schumann. I'll tell you what, Tom, Moffler can really pour it on down that straightaway.
He's looking good so far in the early on of this one. Wayne Moffler of the Phoenix area, sponsored by Superior Machine and Arizona Race Mark. So I imagine he's putting some big smiles on those folks' faces.
Here comes Yaley on the inside of Schumann. Schumann goes high. Yaley tries to overtake him on the inside, but can't quite catch up to him. But he's on the tail of Moffler right now.
Open wheel machines at their best. The USAC Midget men, and what a show they always bring to us here in 87 so far. They've been demanding competitors. Moffler continues on in the lead, but boy, he's got to be feeling the heat as we roll into lap 5 of 8. Cactus Jack takes it out of turn 2 and into the lead. Now he'll try to put some pad between he and those next two competitors, Cactus Jack in the lead, Billy Schumann trying to close it up in the number 8 car, and one-time leader Moltner in 67 now chasing along in 3rd place, and time rapidly running out in this one. Yaley, always an aggressive driver here at Raven. What we've seen of him all year long has been basically your flat-out racing.
Looks like 07 smoking. We've got one stalled here on the front straightaway. Looks like Jerry Rice. And Jerry's car stalled, and she's trying to get it going again, but it doesn't look like she's going to do it, Tom.
Nope, and that has brought out the yellow, so this will bunch him up and turn it into a dash here at the end. And I know that's one of your favorite ways, isn't it?
It sure is. I love to dash. Track's still quite wet out there, Tom, as you notice the push truck slipping and sliding, pulling out on the racetrack. I had quite a bit of mud on my feet when I came up from there. So Jerry Rice being pushed into the pits. Looks like Jerry will be out of this one. I believe she's being pushed into the pits. Yes, she is. Perhaps she'll be back out here for either the B main or main event tonight. Let's hope so.
And happy to share with you the happiness that you may have heard in the background with our officials. The remainder of them out here are okay, meaning they are in proper order. So if they bring it around in decent fashion for George Camp at the flagman starter stand, he'll be waving the green, and we'll be off and running with what's left in this one. Here we go with Cactus Jack and Schumann going at it. Hoffler trying to close it up in turn 1, unable to get it done, coming out of 1 and into 2. Yaley and Schumann bringing it around out of 3 and into 4 now. Eyeballing the white flag. 1 lap to go for Cactus Jack, and then Billy Schumann in that order. Schumann giving it a good chase right now. Hoffler having to hang on, keep Mike Brooks out of his hip pocket. We got a premature smoker out there as we head to the checkered flag for Yaley and Schumann. Yaley all the way. Schumann takes the second, and sure enough, moving his way up, John Hibner in the 5A machine to snatch 3rd away from Mike Brooks in the 11X car.
Well, Cactus Jack Yaley wins another one. He's only been out there for 2 races, and he's won both of them. Billy Schumann giving it a good charge, but couldn't catch up with Cactus Jack Yaley. Let's give him another hand. Cactus Jack Yaley, car number 1AZ from Phoenix. Also, let's give Billy Schumann a good hand. A great effort by Billy Schumann. John Hibner in 4th, Mike Brooks in 5th, and Wayne Moltner winds up in 5th place.
Lap.
And how much do they cost?
They'd be cheap at twice the price, but they're just $1.50 as I understand it.
That is cheap.
And Manus hates to eat the dang thing, so
and
grab a program now.
I hate to eat them. Well, Manus leads him down the back straightaway, and George Camp tells him one more time around they're waiting on one of the other cars to get out there, so we'll have a full field. Looks like Steve Sussex from Tempe is going to be scratched in this one, so they're not waiting on him.
Tommy Sines told us tonight the arm restraints are for when they come up and tell them that they have only got enough gas left for 8 laps and there's 10 laps remaining in the race. It keeps him from slapping them. And he did it with a straight face, so maybe it's true. George Camp eyeballs them, ladies and gentlemen. They're out of 3 into 4, and here we go. We've gone racing for a second time, heat-wise, for these USAC midgetmen, with Dave Manus leading the field into and out of turn 1, now out of 2 and down the back chute. Last time around for him in qualifying, 4th fastest on the night. So he comes to run.
That he does. Buddy Nelson still behind him with Robbie Flock in 3rd position right now.
So they're running just the way they left the gate, so to speak. Those 3 are beginning to set the pace all by themselves from the rest of the field. The 4 that remain in that rest of the field. Manus continues to lead him out of 3, out of 4. And past the start finish, well, I'll tell you, he's got that little Hummer just churning right along. And Buddy Nelson and Robbie Flock may have their hands full to cut away any of this one in 8 lap heat race for the USAC midgetmen.
Manus opens it up just a little, Tom.
They're around again, and Dave has opened it up a little bit on Buddy and Robbie. Robbie, I think, thinking about putting some moves on Mr. Nelson. Let's see if he can get it done as we eyeball lap 4, the midway point of this one. Manus continues on with that Raven Beauty. That Black Deuces are wild for sure right now with Manus behind the wheel. It continues to be Nelson and Flock running in that order behind him. Then Rick Johnson and Mike Penny to round out your top 5 in this one as we go to the 11th hour. Your second heat race this evening for the USAC Midget men. Been nothing but lean and green so far, Jack.
That it has, Tom. The car's not side by side, almost side by side right now. Look at them, side by side on a turn number 2. But Flock falls back coming out of that turn. Manus has this one wrapped up if he can just hold on to it, Tom.
I think he'll just stick it in the groove and kind of take it on a cruise now because George Camp is lowering the yellow flag. We'll be going to white flag. Next time around, Manus has now opened up about a quarter lap lead here at your whitest and blackiest 3/8 in the West. Look at this guy go. Streaming it on with that much lead now on Buddy Nelson, Robbie Flock, and Rick Johnson still in that order.
Oh, what happened to Manus? Something happened to that automobile.
And whatever it was happened awfully quick between 1 and 2. He's down.
What a
It
shame.
will not bring out the yellow. The checkered flag will fly for Buddy Nelson and his new Aries machine. Looking real good in this one. Once Manus took a break, so to speak, up there between turns 1 and 2. So it'll wind up Buddy Nelson, Robbie Flock, Ricky Johnson, Jerry Coons Jr., and there you have your top 4 in this one. And a stunned Dave Manus sitting up there under the Biff Baker Fence Company sign.
Something happened to that automobile just beyond the number 2 turn over there, and I don't know what it was, but he only had 3/4 of a lap to win his first race here at Raven Raceway, and it's not over till it's over, so he's out of this one. Let's hope he's back out here in the main event. Buddy Nelson wins it in number 11A, as Tom said. Robbie Flock winds up in second. Rick Johnson, almost catching those two fellas, winds up in third place. Jerry Coons Jr. from Tucson in that 12A car holds on to 4th position. Then you had Mike Phillips and Lisa Phillips driving for Denise Bennett tonight. Well, Buddy Nelson wins it. Dave Manus having a little bit of tough luck on the last lap. We've seen that before, Tom, with Carl Trimmer having a main event won once before and having a flat tire that night. And, well, that's the way racing goes. A little tough luck.
The unpredictableness of it. To go from first to last in one fell swoop and on the last lap, got to be one of those tougher lumps to chunk down, to say the very least. But Dave will get her garnered back up and head back out here later on in the evening, and we'll wish him the best of luck then. But might want to give him a nice warm round of applause as he tools by, because he gave you one hell of a race for 7 laps. You got to admit that. He just flat out had that sucker humming along and looking real good. What happened, Lord only knows, but that's what happens in the motorsport of racing sometimes. I'm sure these drivers feel far too many times.
This is some good, exciting action. I'll tell you what. I like these guys. The Wings Super Modifies, as you call them, Wings over Tucson.
And they like you, Jack. Boy, we had so much fun down in the pits tonight. It was like full moon, and everybody let their hair down. Tell it's getting near the end of the campaign. Looser bunch you'll never find. How loose are they? Loose enough to go racing, says George Camp. So we continue on with our open wheel. Wings over Tucson. And your points champion from the Phoenix area, Dave Hatton, is the early rabbit to go catch here. And Tommy Signs in 4T assigns himself right now the next closest to him to go and get the job done. Let's see. Hatton leads him around, brings him down out of 4, past us in the grandstand area. Donnie Singh is running along in 3rd place right now with J.D. Vance in 33, rounding out the top 4. Still in the early on this one, but Hatton now opening it up on his nearest competitors as round he comes. With that much lead right now on Tommy Signs in the 4T machine, and Singh right behind Signs.
Singh trying to overtake him on that last corner, but couldn't get up underneath Tommy Signs. He may try it right now. Let's see what happens. Singh dashes on the inside, but brings him back down the outside. Now he tries him on the inside. side again, and he's side by side going through the corner. Look at that.
Well, those two looking good in wheel-to-wheel, elbow-to-elbow competition. Tommy Signs loses out on this battle, though, as Donnie Sink powers his way into second place, but he's got some ground to make up on Dave Hatton. Hatton will talk all he wants about not having a built-in advantage with that points championship up at the other end of the interstate, but I'll tell you what, his confidence must be sitting red hot right now. I watched the guys working on that machine earlier this evening in the pit fields, and he's looking real good out on the track surface right now. Donnie Sink trying to close it up. Not looking like he's going to be able to get the job done anytime soon. And Tommy Signs finding J.D. Vance. Plenty of trouble in that red racing 33 machine. Signs is still the better of the two right now. About to lose it though coming out of turn one. Signs gains it back in turn two. Look over here out of four. Your leader Hatton cooking to the white flag lap. 1 to go. And if he keeps it lean and mean and out of trouble, he'll have this one all wrapped up. Vance is still giving Signs some fits. Signs has a little bit better groove though, coming out of one and in two and out of two. So he will not be headed. Here's your winner though, Dave Hatton down from Phoenix in that number 4 machine. Donnie Sink, J.D. Vance, and Tommy Signs rounding out your top 4 at checkered flag time.
Well, Dave Hatton had it all the way just about in that number 4 P car. Let's give him a good hand. Dave Hatton for winning this one. Dave from Phoenix. Donnie Sink wound up in second place. Could not catch Dave. J.D. Vance lunged in front of Tommy Signs on the last lap to overtake Tommy. Wind up in third place. Signs wound up in fourth. Billy Hicks in 92 in fifth. Gary Hinton in 71 in sixth place. John Vesey in 54. And Wes Morey wound up in the pits in the middle of this one in that car number 57. So some good racing out there, Tom. Not for position number 1, but for position number 2 and 3. So Zerby, is that how you pronounce his name? Zerby?
That's what I'm going with.
Number 48 leads him on around. Green flag flies as Zerby leads him down the front straightaway.
Not for long, Ernie Payne, 77 La Jolla. Gives it a good crank. And into the lead he goes in the early on of this one. Let's hope we can keep that green flying. Been beautiful so far this evening. Ernie La Jolla Payne having it all his way up front right now. The rest of the field trying to get themselves sorted out. Donnie Byer in 23X seems to be the most likely candidate right now if there is to be a lead change. It may not be if Ernie Payne has his way, and he has run strong all season long. Dave Strickland in the number 41 car will take his turn now, his crack at slowing down Payne, or more accurately catching up with Payne as we roll into lap number 3 again on 8. Strickland trying to close it up on Payne up in turn 2. Let's see how they stack up down that back chute. No significant closing for Strickland on Payne, so Payne is obviously running well. Got her in the early groove here tonight. Belgian fire as he backs off of him. Strickland heading her up into turn 1. Pretty sight. Great night for racing.
John Zerby in 48 lines up in the pits right now. Also 23, Donnie Byer into the pits.
A spot for a couple of early on good runners to be out of this one. We're down to 7 midgets left here, still racing under the green. And it continues to be La Jolla Payne in the lead in that 77 machine, and Strickland trying desperately to get things closed up. Dave Cole in the 90 machine, still within striking distance and running along in third place. But George Campbell prepares the white flag for 1 lap to go, and let's see what happens with Payne and Strickland in this one. Memorial banner likely will hang in there for third place. Strickland making a little bit of a stab at it, rolling into turn 3, but unable to get the job done. And Ernie Payne will lead him to the checkered flag. That's how they go, 1-2 with Dave Colton. number 79, your 5th place finisher for our 3rd heat race this evening for the USAC Midget Men. Ernie Payne giving you a whale of a show, ladies and gentlemen.
And Dave Strickland almost overtaken Ernie. Who knows what would have happened if they would have had a couple more to go, but Ernie Payne wins it with Strickland winding up in 2nd place, and at number 41, Dave Culp giving a good effort in number 90 in 3rd position. Mike Williams, Terry Farrar, Kent Zimmerman, and Ron Neville. Jerry Rhodes out there. We announced that Mario Brighetto would be out there, but Jerry Rhodes is out there instead.
Another of the Phoenix contingent. He's in the 32. We are now being told is not in this race, even though it may appear he is. He is merely testing his car. So are the rest of them in a big way. With Gary Fawcett driving 34 off of the pole and into the lead by turn 1. Some changes in the positioning behind that, and they'll continue to change down the back chute. Some neat passing going on back there, Jack, and into turn 3. Awfully close proximity for these open wheel machines as they come rolling by. With Gary Fawcett and Eric Wilkins running 1-2 with David Burns trying to close it up in the 73 machine as they roll down the back chute and into turn 3 now. Here they come, still in that order off of 4 by the start finish. Still stacked up into that order with TJ Morrow in 61. Now running along in 4th place, but he's got company behind him as we roll him through 3 and 4 and into lap number 3. Continuing on though with Gary Fawcett and Eric Wilkins. Running 1-2 just in front of Dave Burns in this one. The yellow flag is out with a down machine up in turn 3. 3 laps in the book in 50. Jim Gamel, the rookie out of Tempe, with a breakdown sort of problem up in 3. So our officials hasten to get the rest of them in order. 3 laps gone in this one. 5-lap dash left, perhaps, once we get a determination on Gamel.
Well, as we said before, Yaley is not out in this one, nor is Don Sink. Jamel may be out of this one. Jamel from Tempe, Arizona, a rookie. He's getting shoved off right now. Let's see if he's going to be back in this one or head into the pits. Doesn't look like he's going to make it, though. A big thanks to Gary's Towing, doing such a great job out here. Always right on the spot. On the spot, on the dot, Gary's Towing. Thanks, Gary. And to all these folks who come out here to push for us tonight. Well, looks like we just might go green this time. What do you think, Tom?
Well, I think Camp would like to. He's got the green flag ready to go. They look good to me and to you and to George Camden. We're off and running again. And we've still got Gary Fawcett in the lead, which is where he has been so much so far. Eric Wilkins would like to change that 0-1 machine as we roll to lap number 4. Dave Burns in 73. Still in 3rd place as we bite into that 4th lap. So we're midway in this one. Fawcett halfway home.
Lap number 5 coming up. Fawcett still your current leader. Wilkins being challenged by Burns. Burns trying to throw out the line and reel Wilkins back in. Can't catch him right now. 1, 2, 3, huh?
2-car race there for 4th place going on right now. Brett Randall amongst them.
TJ Morrow in 61, rubbing wheels with Brett.
Here come the leaders out of 4 and into lap 6. Gary Fawcett still in the lead. Eric Wilkins and Dave Burns along with TJ trying to close things up. They're unable to get the job done. Burns looks like he might just be able to put a move on Wilkins up there heading into turn 3 as your leader Gary Fawcett comes around to take the white flag. 1 lap to go. Unable to get the job done. David Burns will continue to gnaw away, taking a little bit higher road than what what he might have liked even out of turn 1, and unable to close it up out of 2 and into the back chute, out of 3, out of 4 now, and there will be no change at the top. Boston, Wilkins, Burns go 1, 2, 3. Not surprisingly, in this one, TJ, Mr. Morrow hanging on to that 61 machine for a 4th place finish just ahead of Phoenician Jerry Rose.
And right on that last lap, Brett Rando having that battle between TJ Morrow wound up into the pits. Let's give him a good hand, folks. Car number 34, Gary Fawcett. Good job, Gary. Wilkinson second, as Tom said, Burns, Morrow, and Rhodes. And that's all that was left out on the racetrack, as Brett Rando in the last lap wound up into the pits with Jim Jamel, Don Sink, and Jack Yaley, who did not start this one. Another Tucsonan, Troy Brown in number 24, inside 3rd row. Steve Wagner, 35T, outside of that 3rd row. Steve from Sierra Vista. Chuck Bowman in 73 from Phoenix on the inside of the 4th row, and Tom Dingus in number 21. Outside row number 4.
And we've got Racing Green once again. Here we go. Holy smoke. Look at the front 4 fly into turn 1 in this one. And Ronnie Whitwell performing admirably and as you've come to expect. In the early on. Boy, I can't believe that traffic going into turn 1. Whitwell, though, with the early lead in 96 in this one. Fireman Ron Gary pokes his way into the lead down the back chute into turn 3, getting a little wobbly there between 3 and 4, but able to keep it under control. And so the Flying Fireman literally is. He said tonight he's actually kind of like that nickname compared to a lot of other things he's been called across his lifetime. So we're not in the doghouse. Ron Gary, your city fireman when he's not racing, as you've seen all season long when he comes to race, he is flat out capable of racing well, having snatched the lead away from Ronnie Whitwell in this one. Whitwell continuing on in 2nd place, though.
Bill Norman, 74 from Phoenix, into the pits, smoking up a storm.
Carl Garrett in 29 of Tucson, running 3rd in this one now, just ahead of Tom Dingus, your top 4. And those 4 in a race on their own right now as Ron Gary leads them in the lap 5 by that much over Ronnie Whitwell and Carl Garrett. They'll come up on the slower traffic before they get out of here. So let's see how they fare when that happens. Lap 6 in the process. Flying Fireman still doing his thing in this one. Ron Gary sorting himself through the traffic out of turn 2 and into the back chute, ready to come around out of 3 and 4 and take the white flag. 1 lap to go. Look out, Ronnie. Good job of driving to keep it under control, and a decent job of driving on everybody else's part to keep it out of trouble. But now we've got a problem up in turn 1, and we have lost a couple of them to a spin out up there. Who? Troy Brown at 24 and Carl Garrett, number 29, your 2 involvees. There's a first for us this year, involvees.
I've been in one of those once before. So this will close it up between Ron Whitwell and Ron Gary. Gary in that number 14 machine, Whitwell driving number 96. Gary with a good lead over Whitwell, but now it's going to close it up, so it's going to be very interesting whether we go back to green and white or just green then white.
Pair of Rons in the lead on our Double Buddy Memorial Night here at Raven Raceway. And again, thank you all for coming out and being a part of it here this evening. We've loved having you across this first campaign of racing under the Manus's banner at Raven Raceway. It's been so much fun. So much fun right now for Jack Jacobs because he loves it when they bunch up under the yellow, and they'll come dashing out from under this one. It'll literally be a dash to the finish now. Rons, Gary, and Whitwell in that order. New Jolly Rancher Candy's USAC Arizona Midget Series points. These are the latest. Dave Culp in the lead with 254. 223 for Ernie Payne, 208 for Jerry Coons Jr. So those are your top three brand new. 254 for Culp, 223 for Payne, 208 for Coons, and then Cactus Jack Yaley with 186 points in fourth place. And those are current, thanks to our USAC officials in attendance tonight. It's always nice to have those guys in our racing family here at Raven Raceway as well. Ricky Johnson, by the way, is just 1 point shy of Yaley in fifth place. Robbie Flock in sixth place with 150 points. Then Billy Schumann in seventh place with 144 points. Dave Burns is eighth with 142. John Hibner in ninth place with 117. And Mark Passarelli rounded out your top 10 with 113. So Dave Culp, your current points leader. The Jolly Rancher, Candy's USAC Arizona Midget points. The latest, hot off the press.
Hot off the press. And hot off the press will be the green flag if George Camp sees fit.
Looks like he's going to fly green and white. He's got them together, and so the message is delivered, and Fireman cooks it in number 14 once again. Oh, what a sensational sight it is from this vantage point, watching him head up there to turn one tonight. The close proximity of these open wheel machines. Close proximity, something not in the vocabulary of Ron Gary, though. Flying Fireman running off to victory in this one over Ronnie Widwell, and Tom Dingus with Carl Guerin and Steve Wagner rounding out the top five.
Ron Widwell could not catch Ron Gary with that one lap to go. So Ron Gary in number 14 wins it with Ronnie Widwell winding up in second place. Let's give him a good hand, folks. The car number 14, Ron Gary. Widwell in second. Dingus winds up in third place. Carl Guerin in fourth. Steve Wagner in fifth place with Troy Brown rounding out your field. So cracking them right out tonight, Tom. The second heat race for the Winged Super Modified division. That would be the final heat race for those guys.
So it's turned out to be an awfully good-looking evening for racing. You can dress it up even more with our homemade bowl of chili. $1.25 coffee and hot chocolate for just $1 in the 12-ounce cup. Come back with a smile on your face and get it renewed for no additional charge. 99 cents. Not $1. It's been reduced. 67X, Wayne Moffler. Down from Phoenix tonight with Mike Penny, a fellow Venetian, sitting on the outside pole in the number 60 machine. Second row will have Lat Franklin in 79X and Jerry Rhodes in number 32. The third row will have Dennis Pellicotti in 07 out of El Paso. Lisa Phillips in the number 27 machine will be on the outside of that third row. Kent Zimmerman, 38A, inside the fourth row with number 16 Brett Randall sitting on the outside. Ron Neville in 20 on the inside, fifth row. Dave Maness, sponsored by Raven Raceway, and in the Raven 2, Black Deuce, sitting outside that fifth row. John Zerby in 48 and Donnie Byer in 23X will constitute the sixth row, and Steve Sussex in 23A to round out your starting grid. That's how they appear to stack up here to me right now, and if they look that way to that man down there in the zebra top, then we'll be off and running in a semi-main event. 12 laps for these USAC midget men. Who is that we just took out of there so we can let them know, please?
Brett Randall, number 16, scratched on this one.
Randall not with us. He is the lone scratch so far. Moffler at 67X. Takes it off the pole and into the lead up there in turn one. Boy, look at the closeness back there in turn two, Jack. And 3 abreast down the back chute. Who's involved in that?
Maine is jumping out in the 4th place right now. And look at him charge.
Honking it real well in that Raven 2. Black deuces wild. Trying to close it up on Moffler, and he does. He plants it into 3rd place right now. Does Mr. Raven Raceway. Out of turn 3, into turn 4, down the home chute, trying to close it up on Wayne Moffler. In the 67X machine, Mike Penny in 60. We've got one up against the wall up here, and some smoke burning down here in turn 1 going on, so we may lose more than 1 or 2 in this little involvement here.
That was our leader, number 67, Moffler. And Moffler has died out on the back straightaway. I believe that's Lisa Phillips in 27 over there, turn number 4, Tom. Okay, so no, it's not Lisa. It's Ron Neville.
Mike Penny will have inherited the lead in this one. Boy, we were just sailing along ever so smoothly, and all of a sudden, just like Dave learned earlier this evening, how quickly things can change. But right now, it's changed very positively for Dave Maness. Number 2 in that 2nd position. Lat Franklin in 79X is right behind Dave, who is sandwiched in between Franklin and your leader, Mike Penny.
Wayne Moffler staying on the racetrack, Tom, trying to get that vehicle started once again. The push truck thought he was going to enter into the pits, but that car doesn't look like it's going to start.
May have heard the officials, Tony Barrow in particular in the background, say they are lined up A-OK. So that's good news.
The way you see them or the way you get them.
They are ready to go racing, and so as soon as we have those machines that are not quite so ready to go racing taken care of, it should be a fast restart here. Tough appearance there for 67 Wayne Moffler, your earlier on leader in this one, dropping to the wayside.
So Mike Penny leads it. Dave Maness is in 2nd position right now. Lat Franklin in 3rd, just the way you see him. Dennis Pellicoat in 07 in 4th position. Lisa Phillips in 5th in that number 27. Kent Zimmerman in 38. He's in 6th position. Ron Neville is still at turn number 4. We're not sure yet if he's going to be out of here. I think they're throwing a hook on him, Tom. Doesn't look like he's going to make it back in this one.
It doesn't look good when it takes this long. But then you never know.
They started to give him a shove, but now he's back and getting the hook on him.
I'll tell you who's got ants in his pants right now in all probability, as they continue to tool around at this snail's pace. That would be the guy in the black machine, number 2.
The Black Deuce.
Boy, that guy's got it in his blood, does he not?
Boy, did he. I'll tell you what, he was on the outside position when the green flag flew. He jumped up 2 or 3 cars, took the outside row, and just zipped his way into 2nd position right now.
And he leads so much of his non-racing portion of life, much like he leads his racing portion. Very hyperactive, ever pressing forward kind of guy. Not happy unless he is working about 30 different odd jobs all at the same time. But you see what his reward has been for that kind of effort here in 1987. A whale of an inaugural campaign for any race facility. But thanks to you folks in the stands tonight and some who aren't here, the number 1 short dirt track in all America, according to the folks at NASCAR, per car count and spectator count both here in 87. And we thank you on behalf of Dave and Linda Maness and the entire Raven Raceway family so much for helping with regard to that accomplishment here in the first year out.
Ron Neville being towed into the pit, so Ron's going to be out of this one along with Wayne Moffler in 67. Oh my goodness, there's why he's out. Problems with the right rear of that vehicle. Must have scraped the wall, Tom.
Doesn't take much with these open wheels. They're so precarious to any kind of a miscue, and it doesn't take long running up against the wall for a wheel to get just literally rubbed away like you saw done there on the Neville machine, the 2020 car. So this ought to do it. Next time around, we'll have them off and flying and heading into intermission time with auction and special events coming your way with Dave Maness. And lucky program numbers too. So get them handy, keep them handy. Lucky program numbers on the rear cover of tonight's program, lower right rear, the grandstand area. 2 laps gone, 10 laps remain here.
9 cars left out on the racetrack.
And we've got Racing Green. Here we go with Mike Penny, Dave Maness. 1-2 into 1. And Maness doesn't waste any time in closing it up. It opens up once again. Maness looks like he's ready to mount a move back there down the back chute. He does, but unable to overtake Mike Penny. Now he's got him between 3 and 4. Maness comes out of 4 in first place in this one, in that number 2 machine. Mike Penny dropped back to number 2 right now, and the smoker inching his way ever forward, running along in 4th place. Pellicotti, the 07 machine, kicking up some blue dust out there. Maness, then Penny, then Black Franklin. That's how they're running out of turn 1, heading up to turn 2. Maness beginning to open it up now on the rest of the field in that raven colored number 2. Black Deuces Wild, they sure are tonight.
Dennis Pellicotti is smoking more and more as he comes around the racetrack, Tom, in that 07 car from El Paso, Texas. And now he's really starting to smoke.
Is that car still for sale? It was earlier.
Nope, number 16.
Crisscross, the red and yellow indicating halfway. We've come midway with Dave Maness. Mr. Raven Raceway in the number 2 machine in the lead. Boy, I'll tell you, there's some exciting action between those 5 guys running along in the battle for 4th place. A lot of fire kicking up out of that 1 machine back there. I hope it's just all in the belching variety. While Pellicotti continues to kick up a stink of blue smoke around Raven here on a Saturday night. Dave Maness not only running it, but outrunning it right now. The rest of the field, that is, at his plant, Raven Raceway. Here he comes out of 4 in the lead and opening up that lead ever so much with every passing lap. Mike Penny, 6-0, and Black Franklin trying to get things closed up on the leader, Dave Maness, but unable so far to get the job done. Here comes Maness now. He's biased with that much of a lead right there on his nearest competitors, Mike Penny and Black Franklin, and Lisa Phillips also trying to get things closed up. Maness having it all his way. Donnie Byer also up there with Penny and Franklin trying to get her closed off. White flag is prepared for the bulk of the field as Steve Sussex heads off prematurely to the pit field. Dave Maness back to where he was earlier. White flag, 1 lap to go. He's in the lead. Now he can keep it from crackling. He'll like how this one will finish up ahead of Penny and Byer with Black Franklin rounding out the top 4 slots. Here he comes out of 4. And is wrapped it up. Checkered flag for Dave Maness in that Raven 2. Deuces Wild for sure here on the 24th of October. Donnie Byer in 23X. Mike Penny in 60. Rounding out your top 3, Lat Franklin in 79X. Taking care of the top 4 spots with Lisa Phillips in number 27, rounding out the top 5. Dave Maness driving her off. A victor here this evening in your USAC Midgets semi-main event.
Donnie Byer, the closest guy to him at the checker flag, but not all that close. Winds up in 2nd position. Mike Penny jumps in front of Lat Franklin, and winds up in 3rd place. Lat Franklin, who was smoking up a storm there in number 79. Oh, excuse me, Dennis Pellicoat was the smoker. Lat Franklin winds up in 4th position. Lisa Phillips in 27 in 5th. And unofficially Kent Zimmerman in 6th place. Dave Maness wins his first race here at Raven Raceway. Almost won 2 tonight, but wound up winning the one that counted, the semi-main event, and that will put him in the main event in tonight's 30-lap main event feature.
Move along with our auction, and also Dave Maness with some special presentations and ceremonies for you here this evening. Back, ladies and gentlemen, let's give the man a warm round of applause once again for a job well done in that Black Deuces Wild night, Dave. What a show you gave us.
No, we're just having a lot of fun.
Uh-huh.
And I'm definitely having fun tonight. This is the first time I've got to drive all year since we took over the racetrack, and I'm going to retire on the Roger McCluskey November 13th for sure, and I just wanted to run the last 3 races, and I want to thank Bob Bowers, especially out of California. That's the car I campaigned last year all throughout across the United States, and he's brought it over from California for me to run the last 3 shows. So I'm having fun, and this show is very special, and that's one reason I wanted to run it. Linda, if you'd bring our guests down here and the plaques there. We have 2 very special awards. We'd like to honor these 2 gentlemen tonight. Tell you briefly about them. Maybe a lot of you know them, maybe a lot of you don't. But Buddy Taylor was probably one of the most gentleman racers I ever met in my life. I would say he'd had the same caliber as the Hank Arnold or anybody else that was that tribute that great. He was a hell of a sportsman. He always had time to help you on a race car, whether you was a rookie, whether you was a beginner or whatever. Unfortunately, Buddy's family, his wife, Rexine, passed away a few years back, and Buddy's left with his children in Albuquerque, New Mexico. But there's a gentleman here that has raced with him more than I had the opportunity. I raced with him for 10 years, and believe me, it was some of the best racing I had in my life. But Bob Hibner is here to accept the Buddy Taylor Memorial Plaque for the Taylor family. And Bob, in memory of Buddy Taylor, those that we hold most dear never truly leave us. They leave on in the spirit of racing. Raven Raceway, with love from Linda and Dave, we'd like you to present that to the Taylor family. And I'm sure Bob would have a few kind words or a few words he'd like to say about it.
Thank you very much. Yes, Buddy was a very good friend, and I'll see that his children get this memento of his career here in Arizona. Thank you.
Bob Hibner ran sprint cars with Buddy Taylor for many, many years, and I had the privilege of running sprint cars and midgets with Buddy Taylor. And I know that he'll give it to him with a lot of proudness, you know. Okay, the other young gentleman is Buddy Thomison. To many of you may not have known him other than he run motorcycles in the Tucson area. I believe he started in the street stock class here at the Raceway, am I correct? And progressed right straight into midget racing. And I believe he started when he was 17 in midgets. And Bob and I had the privilege of racing with him as a team effort or whatever, and he's seen him race at Manzanita, and he's just a super young lad. He gave his life up because of a nasty disease, cancer, and in the last few months of his chemotherapy and nasty treatment, he went overboard for the public and let him do experimental therapy and things like that on him because he knew it was over. It's maybe over there, but it'll never leave the rest of our hearts in the racing community in Tucson and Phoenix. Buddy died at the young age of 21. I had the privilege of being with Buddy from the first days he started racing as a youngster, and Rick Stewart did a fantastic job of taking him in as a beginner and built a car just exactly like the one I'm driving right now. And Buddy was very fast, and he was going to be, for years around, definitely going to be a fierce contender. He did it. He did it his way. So I'd like to honor the family, his beautiful wife, of a very short period of time. This is hard on them. It only happened 2 months ago, late August, and his mother's here, all the way from Silver City, New Mexico, the home of Richard Griffin, too. And we would like to present this. I think Linda can read this to him.
In memory of Buddy Thomison, Those we hold most dear never truly leave us. They live on in the spirit of racing. Raven Raceway 87. With love, Dave Linda.
So, go ahead. His mother, Jackie, here would have a few words she'd like to say, and then I'd like to say something too.
Well, it's Dave that I really want to talk to. I want to personally thank Dave and Linda on behalf of myself and all of Buddy's family. We are honored and flattered that they thought enough of him to give him this honor, and we gratefully accept this recognition. I also want you all to know, and I think maybe I'm saying this prematurely, Dave is wearing Buddy's driver's suit, and that just really makes me feel great. I also, Buddy in his last months was particularly interested in whatever could be done for other people and for people to be aware of cancer. I want to thank the Arizona Cancer Center for having their booth set up out front for their Arizona Sun Awareness booth. If you haven't stopped by there and looked at some of the information that they have out there, it would be nice if you would. We have established a special memorial fund for Buddy at the Arizona Cancer Center, and all the funds that go to that that are contributed to that fund will be used for melanoma research. And one other just little bitty thing. Mothers, look at your children and love your children and watch those little moles that maybe it doesn't look like anything, but maybe it is something. See your family doctor and get your cancer checks regularly. Thank you. And thank you, Dave. I'm just overwhelmed.
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. I got his suit on. I just changed, and I'm going to give him a hell of a ride. So you take the suit afterwards and you retire it. I say thank you to your family. This is very special to me, but he was a good friend of mine. He's going to make some laps with me here in the main event. I made the main event, Hibner. How about that? They were really giving me a hard time, but we got her fixed. We had a coil wire fall off in the heat race in the last lap, but that's okay. I'm going to turn this over to Jack Jacobs because I'm going back down there and get ready. Thanks for all coming. Thanks for understanding that just what this is all about. The Optimist Club, I want to thank them tonight. And don't miss the last two midget shows. I know they may have told you, but I'm going to tell you something. I have over 20 entries on my desk for the 7th and the 13th. We've got Rich Vogler coming, who drove in Indy this year. We got Stan Fox, who I believe finished 12th in Indy. We got Mel Kenyon coming. We got Colorado coming. We got Wyoming coming. We got Washington, Wisconsin. It'll be the best midget show that has ever been put on in the state of Arizona, I believe, right here. I'm looking for 60 cars on the 13th, and I'm sure we'll have 50 cars on the 7th. So don't miss them shows. They're the last ones of the year, honoring Roger McCluskey. Thank you. Here you go, Jack.
Thank you. Now, go. Make sure your battery cables are all tightened up. Okay. As Dave said, don't miss that show. Don't miss our twin 50-lap main events for the NASCAR Winston Late Models and NASCAR Chargers next week. And also I want to announce once again that our first awards banquet, November 21st, right over here at Pima County Fairgrounds, Thurber Hall. And you can buy those tickets for just $10. They're going to be $15 at the door, so you might want to plan on getting them tonight or in the next couple of weeks. Everybody's invited. All the sponsors, businesses, all the race car drivers will be there. Yours truly, Jack Jacobs, Tom Boyd, the Manuses, and all the officials. Okay. Calm down. I don't like to calm down. I get excited. Hey, we're getting ready for an auction here.
Bandana like this, like triangular, and wear it like this during a race because he didn't have one of those $5,000 helmets that we run now, and keep the dust out. So that was kind of a trademark of Buddy Taylor. Dave touched on Buddy, and David started running with Buddy in about, I think it was 1976 or so. and Buddy Taylor was killed in '78 at Manzanita. And Dave always wanted to, he idolized Buddy and always wanted to kind of go by Buddy's driving talents and all. Buddy was so fast, yet he was so smooth. And all I can say was that he was a hell of a racer, and we were very fortunate to know Buddy, just as we were Buddy Thomison, who was very young, very fast, and very smooth. And I want to thank you all for coming out tonight, and this is going to be a great show, and I know both buddies are here. They're watching, and like I said, they'll always be with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Albuquerque Wild Child. That's what they called Buddy. Okay, back up to you, Tom. Get ready for our main event.
Okay, and since we have run obviously a little long with our auction here, and we want to get you introduced to these guys as soon as possible, we will save our lucky program number draw for you. We'll do that in between the two mains coming up here. This will be a 20-lap super main event for you, and I see George Camp with his checkered flag making his way to the back of the pack now, so let's get him set up for you. First, introductory-wise tonight from Tucson in the number 57 machine, sponsored by Center Valley Landscape, Eddie's Engineering, Ray Signs and Lettering and Pinstriping 2, Wes Morey at the wheel of 57. Over to 54 we go, also from Tucson, sponsored by East Engine Specialty and Royal Automotive, John Vesey at the wheel of 54. 74, one of our Phoenix counterparts tonight, sponsored by Performance Plus and Norman Racing, Bill Norman at the wheel. 71 from Tucson, still looking for sponsors on that machine, so if you're of the ilk in the attendance area tonight in our grandstand area, what better way than to add a name to and help out the cause of Gary Hinton behind 71. The 24 machine sponsored by Westover Swap Meet, Lee's Home Maintenance, R&G Auto and Tire, Flowers by Missy, and Tucson on Tape Inc. From Tucson, Troy Brown. Next up, the 92 machine with sponsors of Performance Plus and Phoenix Thunder Racing. Down from the Phoenix area tonight, always good to have him on hand, Billy Hicks in 92. 35T, sponsored by Herman's Paint and Body, Rod's Complete Auto of Sierra Vista, and Certified Auto Electric. From Sierra Vista, Steve Wagner. The 4T machine, also from Tucson, sponsors by ET Automotive, Quality Plating, Tink's Lounge, Brown Wings. It's Tommy Signs at the wheel. The number 29 from Tucson, sponsored by Direct Machine, Precision Engineering, and A1 Automotive, with Carl Guerin Jr. at the wheel. The 21, sponsored by Ad Art Signs, with Tom Dingus at the wheel. The number 33 machine, sponsored by DeYoung Motorsports, Stewart Race Cars, from Phoenix, J.D. Vance. Your Phoenix area points champion down racing with us tonight, Dave Hatton in the 4P machine. The 5T, sponsored by Brassfield and Lenny's Texaco from Tucson, Donnie Sink. Outside pole tonight, number 14, sponsors in Ralph's Transfer and Storage, Brockett Electric, Kennedy & Sons Stucco, and Rich Bratt CPA, our flying fireman, Ron Gary. And on the pole, the 96, sponsored by Post Time Pub, Arizona Crank, and Saguaro Precision Grinding. From Tucson, Ronnie Widwell. And there you have it, a 20-lap super main event for you. We will do our lucky program number call in between this and our USAC Midget main coming up. So get your lucky program numbers handy as found. Shape, Widwell and Gary, Sink and Hatton, Vance and Dingus, Signs and Guerin, Hicks and Wagner. Your front 10 here with Hinton, Brown, Vesey, Norman, and Morey, rounding out the rest of the field. We've got the green all set to fly, says George Camp. Let's see if these guys have come to race. As we do it on a Saturday night, closing in on the end of the campaign. And here you go, ladies and gentlemen. We're back to racing at Raymond Raceway on this Saturday night. The flying fireman does his thing off of the outside pole and vaults it into the lead out of turn one. So he's right back in the groove that he had established earlier on. We've lost not one, but two of them back coming out of the turn two area. Got one topsy-turvy back there. Driver okay back there, getting out under his own power with help in the area already. A rough ride, no doubt, but one that could have gone a lot less fortunate for that driver. But as you're able to see from up here, he's pretty much able to make the moves on getting himself extracted from it by himself. Steve Wagner, Sierra Vista, the 35T machine. Good to see him getting the moves under his own power. As
You gotta play that back. Stop and play it back right now. Yeah.
57, it looks like Wes Morey of Tucson is the second car involved back there. He got knocked around a little bit, but able to keep all fours planted, unlike his Sierra Vista counterpart. So they get 35 righted, get the debris as removed as they can. Donnie Sink in 5T has come to a standstill just shy of the starter's cage. Steve Wagner walking up and taking a seat in the infield area. So the rough ride ends and he becomes a spectator now. Pulled up a comfortable spot out there in the infield. Great area from which to catch the rest of this one. Donnie Sink unable to get forward motion out of it, so we've got an official call for some assist for him. Wagner's machine, you see there on the hook. Maury's machine getting attention currently back there with a push truck in place. Now a push truck coming forth to help Mr. Sink out up here, get him out of this area and back into a racing frame of mind. Ron Gary and number 14 getting her off to a flying start tonight. He said before tonight's racing began that he had a feeling this just might be his this evening. And so far, he has had things pretty well his way. It'll be a restart as 74 with Bill Norman at the wheel. Comes around playing catch-up. So not a complete lap in. We'll restart it. Two abreast. Green flag readied by George Camp. They can keep her in order back there and get Mr. Camp impressed. We'll be off and running once again for you with Maury and Wagner. Knocked from this one in the early on, and here we go. We've got green again. Gary stands on his machine, likewise Widwell, and Widwell has the lead on him with Donnie Sink looking awfully good right now, running second and trying to keep J.D. Vance out of his hip pocket. Sink's got a good move on the outside, heading into turn 3. Let's see how they fare through 3 and 4. Looks like a pretty good battle with Sink in the lead over Widwell in the early resumption of this one. Don Sink, 5T, Ronnie Widwell in 96 right behind him. But Widwell does not have it all alone in second place, and we've got cautionary yellow once again in the early on of this one with one lap into the book. Second spin for Wes Maury will put him out of this racing package. A 20-lap super main event for you that's now not so super for Wes Maury at 57, involved in that early fracas with Wagner. So those two are the first two to get knocked silly with attrition here this evening. One lap down, 19 remaining. Donnie Sink has come to the front of the class. Ronnie Widwell right behind him. Patton has put some good moves on in the early on here in that 4P machine. He's sitting in third right now. Ron Gary has dropped off to fifth. Wes Maury is out of here because of that second spin. J.D. Vance in 33 in fourth place, and Ron Gary, your early on leader in this one in 14, is now relegated to 15th place. 4T, Tommy Signs, has headed to the pit field now. Maury is out of here as a result of that second spin. Wagner out of here as a result of that tip over out of turn 2. And now Tommy Signs has joined them, although he would like to think his is a temporary situation. And he can get right back out here to do some racing with his good buddy and compatriot, Donnie Sink, up front. Green flag is ready to go, or so we would like to believe. And we've got it, says George Camp. Let's go racing. And so they do. Donnie Sink and Widwell and J.D. Vance in hot pursuit up in turn 1. Oh, look at Dave Hatton just laying there in racing awfully fast in 5th position down that back chute. That's how they'll stack up as they come around again. Hatton getting plenty of competition for that battle for 4th place right now. While Donnie Sink begins to open it up now on J.D. Vance, who has bounced her right up there into 2nd place in the early on still of this one. Lap number 3. J.D. Vance giving a good chase just ahead of Dave Hatton on Donnie Sink.
Widwell holding on to 4th position right now, Tom, but Ron Gary's making a move on him. Gary goes on the inside. Widwell gets a little loose there.
Oh, my goodness. They were lucky to come away from that as unscathed as they did, because it looked there for a moment like 5 of them might wind up piling up in that. 74, Bill Norman, one of our Phoenix drivers, is one of them with a problem up there, and Tucson Carl Guerin Jr. in number 29. Those are your 2 downs machines temporarily, and another yellow flies 4th here at Raven Raceway tonight as a result. Donnie Sink, J.D. Vance, Dave Hatton, your points winner up in the Phoenix area, Ronnie Widwell, and Billy Hicks. That's how they stack through the top handful right now in this one. Three laps are gone, 17 to go.
Well, they push Guerin off right now. Let's see if they can get him restarted. Okay, Carl, now you got to turn her around. You're going the wrong way. I think he knows that. And he does.
Nice little power slide.
Yeah, I like that. Well, they're pushing Bill Norman right now in 74. Bill scraped the wall. Let's see if he's going to stay back in this one.
Just got him a nice little white wall cut into that tire. I envy Guerin, that little power slide move he made back there. My car is so old and decrepit anymore, I can't do it but in the snow. And how much of that do we get here in the old Pueblo?
Not too much.
So Guerin and Norman. Well, now Norman has headed off to the pits with that 74 machine, starting to say both of them would remain with us, but not so.
I noticed Norman scraped that wall pretty hard there at turn number 4, Tom. I didn't expect him to stay out here. I was surprised that he did make one more lap, but now he's gone.
And Tommy Sines is still gone too in the 4T machine. He has been unable thus far to rejoin us. Sink, Vance, Hatton, Widwell, Hicks, and Dingus. 3 laps gone, 17 to go, and here they begin. Donnie Sink, J.D. Vance have at it up into turn 1. Vance taking the high road, will be unable to get any power through that second turn, and so Don Sink will hang on to his lead. J.D. Vance, then Dave Hatton. Big points hotshot down from Phoenix. Great guy, tremendous personality. Boy, look at that drive he's putting on in that blue number 4, the 4P machine in second place now, displacing J.D. Vance, albeit temporarily. Donnie Sink leads those 2 Chargers out of turn 4, and through the start finish, it looks like Vance may be able to eat him this time up in turn 1 and turn 2. He does. He gets the job done. Sink relegated, drops off to second place, and gives chase now with Hatton running hot on his heels. J.D. Vance down in the back of every 3 up to the lead. And 5 those Buddy banners tonight. Our dual Buddy Memorial at Raven Raceway. Good to have you a part of it. J.D. turn 3 in the lead. Lap number 7. Donnie Sink giving chase. Dave Hatton thinking about trying to close things up, unable to get her done. There goes the flying fire from Ron Gary, your early on leader in this one.
Hatton hit the
battling
brim.
along in 4th place.
Hatton hit the brim over there, Tom. The burn on that turn number 2 and almost flipped that thing over.
J.D. cooking. Opening it up on Sink and Hatton and Gary in that order, as you see.
into a little bit of traffic right now. Halfway marker out by George Camp. Let's see if JD can overtake 54 and 24. That he does. JD taking the triangle that time, Tom, way wide as he came out of turn number 2.
And you see the groove really beginning to set in on the track surface now, particularly up here in turn 1. J.D. Vance in the lead, drops right down into that groove in turn 1, and powers his way through there ahead of Donnie Sink, running along in second place. Looks like Dave Hatton is having a little bit of difficulty in keeping up with those lead 2 machines. We'll continue to watch as lap 12 now unveils itself on J.D. Vance. Vance in the lead, Sink and Hatton running 2-3, and Ron Gary has dropped off the pace considerably now, unable to keep up with those lead 3 machines. J.D. getting just a little wobbly, coming into turn 4, brings it back under control, keeps it down in that groove, and so he goes. Continuing on with his leader, Sink and Hatton in that order. Lap 14 for your leader. J.D. coming up on that slower car and forced down to that infield lip. Getting a bit of a rough ride there, but able to overcome it, and the car that created it down the back chute. J.D. in the lead through 3 out of 4. Here he comes. Don Sink trying to close it up in 5T. 5 laps to go. The indication George Camp gives these guys in their machines. 20-lap super main event for you with J.D. Vance. Seemingly so far having it all his way. Donnie Sink.
He's closing it up, Tom.
Is hanging real tough in second place in this one. As Jack says, closing it up ever so slowly. They're coming up on traffic. Let's see how they handle it.
Look at Sink making a move right now. Closing it up more, just about a car and a half length. Right behind Mr. Vance.
J.D. diving it low in turn 1. And losing a little bit of ground to Donnie Sink. Let's see what Donnie can do out of turn 3, taking the lower road as they crisscross their racing strategies here. It's still Vance, then Sink, but only by a heartbeat. Dave Hatton in third place in that blue arm racing number 4 down from Phoenix. Hatton now able to close rather rapidly on Donnie Sink.
Sink went wide at turn number 2, and that lost some ground for him.
White flag lap for J.D. Vance in 33. Sink hanging on to second place. Dave Hatton running third.
There goes Hatton side by side with Sink for second position.
J.D. all by himself up front takes the checkered flag. Donnie Sink second best. Dave Hatton in third place as the dual checkered flags fly over Raven Raceway. Ron Gary, one-time leader of this, winds up in 4th place unofficially, with Billy Hicks in 92 taking 5th place ahead of Ronnie Widwell. But that is unofficial. Vance, Sink, Hatton, Gary, Hicks, and Widwell.
Well, J.D. Vance really poured it on when he needed to pour it on. Don Sink almost had him, but Don went wide at turn number 2 on that lap before the white flag lap and could not catch J.D. Dave Hatton, as Tom said, wound up right behind Sink, almost wound up in second place, but could not overtake Donnie Sink in number 5T.
Unveil themselves for you here in a USAC midget main.
23 cars in the field, scheduled in the field anyway. As Tom said, 30 laps for 23 cars. Now, folks, as you see on the back straightaway, the pole position is open on this parade lap, and that is in honor of Buddy Thomison, and Buddy Taylor. Open pole position in memory of these buddies tonight. A real tribute. Looks like Dennis Pellicoat, Tom, is not going to start this one. Just got information from the pits. DNS.
We lose him from the inside row 3 position. Here comes the Mad Dasher to, I think, round it all out. Memorial banner is flying over Tucson tonight for Arizona's best racing buddies in memory here this evening. Some very important words from a mother at intermission time to all mothers and fathers in the stands tonight. Here's hoping we all heed those words and enjoy our own. 4 more.
They're going to get into 4 abreast, Tom, I understand.
At this pace, so it's a 4x4. 4 laps, 4 abreast.
What a beautiful sight. The USAC Midgets with Dave Strickland, your pole sitter for this 30-lap event. Good looking field tonight. 50 cars in our field. 50 cars tonight that we had all together. Let's stand to your feet and cheer them on, folks. Let them know we appreciate them. Fine job these guys do.
Nothing to send them off any better than a rousing round of applause from you folks to help warm things up here on what's become a rather chilly Saturday night late in our inaugural racing season.
Guess we won't be able to say that next year, huh?
Nope. Then it'll be a sophomore campaign. Hope it's as good as the freshman year.
I think we met and exceeded our goals this year, John.
Strickland and Yaley, Flock and Nelson, Payne and Wilkins, Fawcett and Schumann. Johnson and Hibner, your top 10 as we line up 30 laps of USAC Midget Main for you tonight. And here we go, off and running, and a torrid pace being set as well you would have expected here in the early on of this one. They're clean through 1, likewise out of 2. That's an awful lot of wheel traffic in close proximity, all in the same straight so far. Out of 3 and 4 we go, and in the lane continues to be Dave Strickland, Jack Yaley right behind him. A 2-car battle for first place in the early on in this one. Manus finding himself in plenty of traffic into the Budweiser sign and come out of turn 2. Here come your leaders now out of 4 and under the old starting cage. A great shot by George Campbell there tonight, who's got to be enjoying himself. 2 to the max. Strickland, Yaley, and Wilkins. That's how they stack through the top trio of this one. Lap 3, and your top 3 continue to be Strickland, Yaley, and Wilkins. 6-car battle for 4th place developing out there, but we've got a pair of them down in the yellow out, with 2 of them right up in the turn 4 area. '79 lap Franklin. Jerry Rhodes in 32. So those 2 will get a boost. Worked okay for Lad Franklin. He's back and in motion. Jerry Rhodes' machine, the push truck, pulls away from, and Gary's towing. Heads down there to help out.
Jerry Rhodes bringing it all the way down from Phoenix to race tonight in our main event. Looks like he's going to get the hook on him, Tom. Well, while we have a moment, the Buddy Taylor Jr. and Buddy Thomison handkerchiefs are on sale for $1.50. Rather nice, unique handkerchiefs. Just $1.50. So once we get Jerry Rhodes' car off the racetrack, we'll get under the green in a matter of no time. Using the chalkboards I see on turn number 1 tonight. Repositioning the cars. Gary's towing. Oh, he's doing such a great job out here. And the fire crew, ambulance crew, everybody pitching in and helping out. So Rhodes is out of this one into the infield. He'll have to sit this one out, watch it from a relatively good seat in the infield, but I'm sure he'd rather be out on the racetrack. Jerry Rhodes from Phoenix.
George Camp indicates one more at this pace, and then we'll be off and roaring once again. Looking good, say the officials, who have to pass that approval along before we can gain resumption. Strickland and Yaley and Wilkins will be putting the early moves on from those front 3 positions, if for no other reason. There are a lot of other reasons, but one of the good reasons is Robbie Flock is right there in 4th place, and they know what a terrific charger he can be. So they're off and running. Strickland gets the early move in 41 off the restart, takes the lead over Yaley into turn 1. Right back to where we were before the yellow. Looking lean and green so far in this one. And that's a good look and looking good. Yaley trying to go high up here in the grandstand area. No good. He dives back down and tucks it into 2nd place. Behind Dave Strickland at 41. Those two in a 2-way battle for top spot. A 2-way battle for 3rd best is lap number 4. Unravels now for your lead machine. Eric Wilkinson 0-1 is in 3rd place. Once again, they're battling there ahead of the rest of the pack.
Look out, Dave Matus flips it over. We've got a rollover. Looks like the number 2 car of Manus hit the berm on turn number 2 and flipped it up on its lid. Or on its side, I should say. Manus upside down on turn number 2, and we've got one guy over there trying to push him back over.
You can bet Dave Schilling from inside, get me back in this sucker.
Well, let's hope he's okay. We'll give you a report just as soon as we hear. Looks like he's okay. I'm not quite sure yet.
See a lot of animation inside the cockpit of that machine, so it looks as if Dave is A-okay, but as soon as we get official word, we will share that with you.
How about it, officials over there? Is he okay? Let's see a yellow flag or something wave. Well, he's okay, folks. All that's hurt is his pride, somebody said. So Manus having just about everything you can happen to a driver tonight. He lost out on a heat race on the last lap due to a minor mechanical malfunction, won a semi-main event, and put it on its lid all in one night. Gotta say one thing, he's a real showman. Doesn't look like he's going to get back into this one.
Four laps complete. 26 remain. And the field continues to shorten itself. Strickland, Yaley, Wilkins, and Flock, followed by Rick Johnson. Your top handful here as we anticipate green coming out. George Camp accommodates. So we've gone racing at Raven Raceway once again. Jack Yaley trying to close it up on Dave Strickland. Leads him real tight through turn one, into turn two. Strickland down the back chute. Able to open it up just a little bit on Yaley. Then Yaley closes it up, diving into turn three. Let's see how they unstack coming out of four. Yaley taking the high road, powering his way out there. The outside of Dave Strickland, but Strickland still owns the lead into turn one, into turn two, and now they will duel down that back chute again. Yaley losing just a little bit of ground midway through the back chute, then able to close it off, and then it opens up again for Strickland in the lead by that much on Yaley.
Strickland running an 18.88 lap that last lap. 18 and 88 hundredths. Uh-oh, look at that. Yaley has got some fire coming out of his exhaust. Doesn't necessarily mean it's on fire, but he's down on the back straightaway.
And that will bring out the yellow once again with Dave Strickland in the lead, and looks like Robbie Flock has closed it up on him now. So there's been a change at the top, and a change that Jack Yaley is not going to like at all. With 7 laps now in the book and 23 remaining, Yaley sitting motionless under the Winston Racing Series sign back there after some huge belches of fire visible from the exhausts of that machine. One more, says George Camp. Strickland, Burns, Wilkins, and Flock. That's how they stack up here as we anticipate now being within a lap of resumption of this one. 7 gone, 23 to go. Single file they go, these USAC midget men. Strickland, Burns, Wilkins, and Flock. They are followed now by Jerry Coons Jr., Buddy Nelson, and Rick Johnson. Johnson from 5th just moments ago to a 7th place in this restart. They get the scrutiny of George Camp. They rev him up, and so does George by bringing out the racing green, and here we go. Strickland in the lead. David Burns in 73, and Eric Wilkins in that 0-1 car. Strickland and Burns down the back chute. Strickland looking awfully good so far in this one, Jack, but there's a lot to unravel still here.
He's got some top contenders behind him with Burns, Wilkins, Flock, Coons, and Nelson right on his rear. Put the old clock on Strickland, see what kind of time he's turning compared to that 18:58 of that last lap.
Strickland up on David Burns. 0-1. Eric Wilkins is closing on Burns right now. Looks like he might just have a shot at him down the back chute. Let's see, or perhaps in between 3 and 4. Right now, up front, Dave Strickland having it all his way. Or so it would seem. With David Burns and Eric Wilkins trying desperately to close things up. Coming some slower machinery down the back chute, particularly for Wilkins, battling his way down the middle of the groove right now behind Burns and trying to close up on him. Robbie Flock continues along in 4th place.
18.75 for Dave Strickland. I've got a clock on Dave Burns right now. Let's see what Dave is faring. 78 for Dave Burns, right up in there.
Strickland, meanwhile, having it all his way. And up by about a quarter of a lap here. Still lean and green the way we like it. Not sure the way you like it too. 30 laps worth of USAC Midgets, the mighty Midgets of Arizona, for the most part. Lap number 14 as we near the halfway point. Within a lap of it. Strickland with that much lead on Dave Burns, Eric Wilkins, Jerry Coombs Jr., and Robbie Flock now running along in 5th place in this one. Crisscross, red and yellow, halfway. That's what you've done, Dave Strickland. He'd like to keep it right where he's got it in the lead. He's had a lot of it for the first half of this one. Black ice, looks like about 3 crews worth up there in turn 1, Jack.
Boy, it does, Tom. It came off early tonight, too.
Take your pick up there. It's like the lottery. Not happy with one crew, moved over to the other. That's probably what's going to happen over the second half strategies in this one.
Wilkins overtakes Burns on turn number 1. And Burns falls back to the 3rd position as Wilkins winds up in 2nd. And now he takes it back again.
Oh,
that Burns caused a problem.
Right there. Oh, boy. Bounced him right back out into the mainstream of things, though. Look at Strickland go crazy. Walson right now. Eric Wilkins at 0-1. Dave Burns at 73 running their own little battle for 2nd place. And right now Burns gets the upper hand on the lower groove down the back chute.
Flock and Coombs having a battle of their own back there.
Wants to be careful not to get squeezed off down there. Apparently a fairly easy area to get sucked into a rough spot there on that infield lip. Just out of turn number 1 before turn 2.
Battle goes on between Wilkins and Burns as they're side by side. A great part of this racetrack. They keep seesawing back and forth. Right now, it's Burns with the lead over Wilkins, but Wilkins comes back and takes it. Every other lap.
Yellow out with the machine down just shy of turn 2 on the Budweiser side.
Number 38, Tom. Looks like Kent Zimmerman over there at turn number 2. That's the problem turn tonight, as we have seen.
2/3 of this one in the book with 20 laps having been completed. 10 to go.
Hey, let's not count out Billy Schumann moving up from the rear. Billy currently in 6th position right now. So 20 laps in the book.